Okay, this is a quick update. It is October 10th, 2017, just a few minutes before 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And we're going to start off with the very last trade that we had executed here, which was the fade, the double zero trade on the dollar yen. And this resulted in approximately 23 pips total before it topped out here. Now at this point, we've got this support low. I'm going to draw this one in here. Actually, I'll tighten this up first. And we can go with the overall low from, this is a 1 hour time frame, I'm sorry. This is September 29th, that spike low down here. That is the red line that you see here at 112.20. So we'll go ahead and open this up again one more time, and we can see that it's also closed below some of these other support levels. With the divergence, you can see with this last spike low, that's what really set up this reversal. You can see the divergence here in that CCI. That's usually where I'm going to look at, or the indicator that I'm going to use for giving me a visual confirmation that at least that reversal is setting up at that point. Now, as far as reversal, remember, we're still looking for specific targets. So when I execute these trades with the trade copier, I'm looking for specific close day trade type of targets, meaning that I'm not going to get into a trade like this just because I see the reversal possibility and expect it to go all the way back up here and take out, last week's highs or something like that. We've got to be really particular about our targets. So with this one, it also turned out to be the fade the double zero trade, which has a very specific take profit target on it. Again, I won't execute a trade unless I have a target, a precise target, or I just let the trade go. Sometimes I get a signal, but it doesn't give me a clear target. There's too much, divergence, things like that, where it looks like it may not reach that target. And if that's what it looks like at that time that I get the signal, then I stay away from the trade altogether. But in this case, this was a perfect opportunity. All U.S. economic data was out of the way. And so at this point, let's go ahead and look at the 30-minute time frames to see if we can find some possible HL30s. Now, for the HL30s during this Asian session leading into Wednesday, October 11th, I'm going to focus in on the euro dollar, the pound dollar, and the dollar Swiss for the time being. Now, my opinion might change as the Asian session develops and we start moving into the London trading session. I might look for other opportunities. But right now, what we're looking at is the euro dollar. This is a 30-minute time frame. And for those of you who are somewhat familiar with the HL30, what I'm basically doing is trading off of the previous day's high or low. Now, before I decide to do something like that, I have to make sure that the currency pair that I'm looking at, it has to have some kind of trend in place during the previous day's sessions, the entire day, from that rollover period, which is 5 p.m. New York time, to the current start of the new day, which is 5 p.m. New York time. So there has to be some kind of trend. So you can see here with my crosshairs, this is where the market opened at 5 p.m. on the euro dollar, and this is where it closed at 5 p.m. Tuesday, October 10th, leading into October 11th, right here. This is the current candles that we see. So at that point, then we mark off the high and the low for the day. I'm not going to even bother with the low right now. Right now, what I'm looking at is the possibility of trading an HL30 off of resistance. So let's review to see if this would be something that we would actually consider trading. So once we have the high and the low identified from the previous trading session, or the previous day, I'm sorry, we then need to calculate that high. That high there on the euro dollar is 1.1819. Now, price cannot exceed 10 pips above that high. It has to go up to at least 10 pips below the high or not exceed beyond 10 pips above that high. So if that high, again, is at 19, then 29 would be to the high side up there. So the high up there is 26. So it's still holding within that 10 pip range. This is what it would look like if I was to draw in the 10 pip range. 29 would be the high right up here, and price needs to go up to, if this is if that high right there is 19, it needs to go up to at least 9. So if price was sitting, you can see where this candle closed right here, it was already within the 10 pip range right here. It technically is 20 pips from that high to the low, but here is the actual high from the previous day. So that's why I refer to it as that 10 pip range. If price had closed a little bit lower on the at the 5 p.m. rollover, then price would have needed to go up to at least 1809 to qualify. And then sometimes it'll hit, the previous day's high. Every day's a little bit different, but it'll hit that high and then create sort of a double top, depending on which time frame you're looking at, and then it'll pull away. But so far, this is okay. If price ends up exceeding the 1.1829, then we won't trade it as an HL30 with a 20 pip stop and a 20 pip target. We'll trade it as a Tech 1 trade. It could still be a reversal. It's just a different technique using a different stop loss and a different target. That's the difference. With the HL30, we're trading it off of the 30-minute time frame. As long as price stays within this 10 pip range, it's possible to trade it as an HL30 with the 20 pip target, 20 pip stop. But we still don't have the reversal signal candle just yet. We don't have anything that confirms. So there's no point in even looking at the CCI indicator for confirmation. At this point, it's not even something to consider because we don't have the reversal candle yet. It's possible that we could get it in the next 30 minutes. You can see this one's only been open for about a minute now, this new candle. So right now, it's still possible, but it's also possible that price might move up and take out that high at 29 before even printing a reversal candle. And then again, we're not going to trade it as a HL30 reversal. We might trade it as a Tech 1 trade reversal, again, using a different stop loss and a different take profit target. Let's go to the pound dollar. The pound dollar is still holding. So the pound dollar, let me open this one click. This is the previous day's trading range here. You can see where it, let me put the crosshairs here. You can see where this candle closed from the previous day. Here's where it closed today. So there was a trend in an uptrend here, and price is still holding within that 10 pip range. You can see yesterday's high at 23. That spike high in that last candle was right there at 21. So we're good. We're still holding. Yeah, I just want to make sure that this is 23. So this is what the 10 pip range would look like on this one. So 23. So 33 would be to the high side. And then we already know what that would look like. So that would be 13 down here on the bottom. So if it takes out 33 before printing a reversal signal candle, then once again, we would not trade it as an HL30. It doesn't mean that it won't reverse. It could reverse, but we would trade it as a Tech 1 trade. So that's what we're looking at here with the pound dollar. And it's already, right now it's 9 p.m. Eastern time. So sometimes we get signals that develop a little sooner than this, but it's not uncommon to wait a little while. I mean, we might get, if everything holds and it doesn't exceed the high side of that 10 pip range for these HL30s, it's still possible that we could trade it as an HL30 a little bit later during the Asian session. A dollar Swiss, same thing. Yesterday's low down here at 34. It has already gone down to a low of 36. We don't really have a good solid reversal candle pattern just yet, but we'll continue to look at it. If it goes down lower than, and the low here is 34, so on the low side here, if price exceeds 24, that would be the 10 pip range here, right down there. If price ends up dropping down and takes out the low at 24, again, it could still reverse and go back up, but we would not trade it as an HL30. So for those of you who are trying to get the updates on the HL30s, if we're going to be looking for any and executing during this Asian session for Wednesday, October 11th, again, that's what we're looking for on these setups, is that right now, the way it looks, it's still possible that we could get an HL30, but again, it's also it's starting to look like price might test some of these boundaries here on the dollar Swiss, here on the pound dollar. The pound dollar might hold, but it looks like here with the euro dollar, it might punch up one more time and take out that high there, and eliminating the possibility of those HL30s. But we'll keep an eye on it, and then I'll do another update when trading closes for Wednesday New York trading session.